accident attorney.
Wipe out in an accident? Call the firm that's recovered over $1 billion.
I love you, Sweet James!
What matters most to you is what makes your life meaningful. At Ultimed, we get that. We make your health our priority so you can focus on enjoying those treasured moments. With comprehensive health services under one roof, you can get your lab work done, take your kids to the pediatrician, and pick up dad's prescriptions all in one visit, giving you more time to do what you love. Grow healthy at any age with Ultimed.
$2 billion won. He puts it down. That's how you close. When it matters most, call Jacoby & Myers, the official law firm of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
NBC4 News at 11 a.m. starts now.
Right now at 11, medical concerns in Boyle Heights. Healthcare providers who've been treating residents after the warehouse fire reveal the ongoing issues they say are making people sick. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Annabelle Sedano. Within the last hour, we've received new information regarding the people in Boyle Heights. Healthcare providers in that area are sounding alarm about what they're calling a public health crisis caused by the Lineage fire. A new study released by St. John's Community Health says 36% of the patients they've seen since the Lineage fire started have severe health issues connected to the fire. NBC4's Keenan Willard just heard the breakdown of the report and what providers are saying. Keenan.
Well, Annabelle, we're hearing very strong language here today in this press conference from both healthcare providers and community advocates saying that in real time they are watching substantial health damage here to the Boyle Heights community, and they are pointing the finger for the cause to the ongoing Lineage warehouse emergency. We're hearing today from St. John's Community Health. They say they've been running 6 clinics in Boyle Heights since the fire first broke out at Lineage warehouse back in the month of June. They say that since the fire broke out that they've treated around 5,000 patients in total here. They're releasing today a study of more than 1,300 of those patients they've treated. St. John says 36% of those patients had serious and acute health problems, they say, connected to exposure to smoke and toxic chemicals from the fire. Now, St. John's saying many patients had serious respiratory conditions, including asthma and persistent cough. They also say 90% of those patients in this study were Latino and 60% of them were seniors. Providers say this emergency is going to cause, they say, lasting impacts on the physical and mental health of this community. And they're calling for Lineage to face consequences.
We ask these questions. Who will be held responsible for the devastating health impacts of the Lineage fire? How will people be cared for and compensated for their suffering? Who will be held to account?
Anger, frustration, and strong language, again, both from the advocates and some of the healthcare providers that we heard from today in this announcement. Now, we reached out to Lineage Logistics for a response to the findings in this report. We are waiting to hear back. For the moment, from Boyle Heights, Keenan Willard, NBC4 News.
Yeah, top of mind are those lasting health concerns. Keenan, thank you so much for that. All right, guys, let's go outside. The heat is rising this week as we take a live look there at Mount Wilson. A little hazy, but yeah, we are definitely going to start feeling that heat. Our meteorologist Stephanie Omo is here. She's tracking those conditions for us. So get ready for it, huh?
That's right. Temperatures gradually warming. In fact, we've been talking about the National Weather Service putting out a heat advisory. Well, it just went into effect at 10 a.m. this morning. So as we go over and go to this wall, we do have, again, the heat advisories for some of the mountains of Ventura County, LA County as well. This is also including the San Fernando Valley, the San Gabriel Valley, again, in effect through 8 p.m. on Thursday. So there's that moderate risk of heat illness. You want to make sure that you're taking care of yourselves, stay hydrated, drink plenty of water, limit your time in the outdoors. If you work outside, you certainly want to take breaks, especially during peak heat, which is late morning and afternoon. High temperatures this afternoon in the upper 90s, low 100s here later on today in San Bernardino. Riverside 102 expected later on in Lake Elsinore, 101 in Hemet. In Van Nuys, We'll be topping out at 97, 100 degrees in Santa Clarita, 102. It's going to get pretty hot there in the Antelope Valley later on today. So a couple of things you want to keep in mind. Again, we're dealing with that heat not only today, but the next several days. We have the heat alerts in place through Thursday. Elevated fire danger because it's hot, it's very dry. Therefore, we're talking about elevated fire risk as we head into the coming days. Look further ahead, especially as we head into the weekend, we do have that boost in humidity. So we'll talk more about that coming up here in your extended forecast. For now, over to you, Annabelle.
All right, Steph, thank you for that. Well, the sale of the Lakers may now be up in the air. Jeannie Buss is apparently opposing it. That's according to a letter obtained by CNBC. Yesterday, the Buss family trust announced they had voted to sell their 18% ownership in the Lakers to new majority owners, Bob Iger and Josh Kushner. The trust needed a majority vote, and they got it 5-1 with Jeannie as a holdout. Her lawyer cited a previous court order saying no sale can happen without her consent. Meantime, a fight against the FCC, Disney and ABC are suing the Federal Communications Commission. The lawsuit comes after the FCC ordered 8 local ABC stations to file their broadcast license renewals ahead of schedule. Disney says the decision is an attack on free speech and is asking the FCC to stand down. The FCC began programming last September. Disney briefly pulled, you may remember this, Jimmy Kimmel Live off the air after Kimmel made a comment about the motivations of the man authorities say shot and killed conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Happening now, witnesses are back on the stand testifying in the long-awaited trial for the murder of Tupac Shakur. Dwayne Davis is accused of orchestrating the killing of the rap icon in 1996 as revenge for the beating of his nephew. This morning, a former Las Vegas crime scene analyst took the long. During opening statements yesterday, prosecutors say Davis did not pull the trigger, but planned the shooting and provided the gun. Meanwhile, the defense questioned how investigators handled that case. And here's a live picture from inside the courtroom in Las Vegas. I don't think we have it. The trial is expected to last 4 to 6 weeks. If convicted, Davis faces life in prison, and that is a live picture. Remember, you can watch the trial unfold live on our NBC Los Angeles News channel. And if you want to catch up on the case beforehand, we've got a timeline on our free NBC LA app. Meantime, opening statements began in Oakland today for the trial against Meta. California is leading a multi-state lawsuit against the parent company on Facebook and Instagram. New video this morning shows a crowd gathered outside the Oakland courthouse. The states are accusing the social media giant of fostering addictive behavior in teens and children. Industry experts call this case social media's big tobacco moment. This follows other recent trials here in LA and New Mexico that Meta lost, forcing the company to pay nearly $1 billion and for it to change its services. This trial, however, could be much steeper financially, totaling more than $1 trillion.
We have thousands and thousands of pages of letters, reports, internal documents that show firsthand that they knew the harms that their product was having on children, and they decided to look the other way.
Meta disputes the allegations, saying evidence will show its commitment to supporting young people. Meantime, there are new details about the death of actress Hayden Panettiere. A police report indicates her one-time boyfriend, Brian Hickerson, and his brother were inside the South Carolina apartment complex where Panettiere died. The report says she went into cardiac arrest on Sunday. It also says Hickerson showed police a bag of medication that the actress was taking at the time. An autopsy revealed no signs of trauma. Meanwhile, Panettiere's former fiancé says their family is going through a time of profound shock and grief following her death. Vladimir Klitschko released a statement that reads in part, "She built an incredible career through immense talent while also facing darker sides of a very demanding industry. Nothing will erase the times we shared or the place she had in our lives. To our daughter, Kaya, I will always speak of her mother with respect and make sure she remembers the person she was." LA mayoral candidate Nithya Raman wants people to slow down on Forest Lawn Drive in Griffith Park. But as for the project aimed to make that area safer, she wants it sped up. This comes after a motorist was killed in a car crash just last week on Forest Lawn Drive. One person was killed when the car crashed and burst into flames.
We still don't know the full context behind this individual's death. There is no question that this is a dangerous street.
And she says city law didn't allow for speed limits under 45 miles per hour, so her office has been working on redesigning the road itself. Police in Koreatown are looking for the driver who hit someone overnight and then took off. This happened on Vermont and Wilshire. One person who saw what happened says a man was crossing the street when he was hit at around 1 a.m. He says the car's bumper fell off, but the driver's passenger picked it up before they left. Officers were seen reviewing the video caught on camera by a Tesla in that area. No word on the condition of the victim.
The car in front of us was reversing for no reason. So we're like, wait, what's going on here? He almost hit his car. So then what we did was we're like, okay, what's going on? The guy that hit the guy in the back seat over here, here's the show, like at the back seat, he comes out, grabs the bumper, and we thought he was going to stop, but no, he like went back in the car, went straight through.
And police still haven't released a description of the wanted driver. Now to the war in the Middle East. The 60-day ceasefire has expired with new threats on both sides. NBC's Matt Bradley reports from Tel Aviv.
Well, we just heard from President Trump saying what, as they say, the quiet part out loud, that there are no negotiations between Iran and the United States, despite the fact that the president has been saying that there were negotiations for really the past several weeks, if not the past several months. Each time, the Iranians have come back and said that there's nothing more than no passing of the negotiating that's been going on is between Iran and Oman, the two countries whose international waters share that hotly contested Strait of Hormuz. The latter, Oman, that President Trump yesterday threatened to bomb the out of. So it looks as though these negotiations have now been stuck in a logjam, have been for quite a long time. This, as the new midterm elections are looming in the United States, it's unclear what the president is going to be able to do in order to get out of this stuck situation. He has pledged to pile more economic pressure on Iran. The U.S. has struck targets in Iran since late July, but it's unclear what economic pressure would actually do. Senior Iranian officials have already pointed out that Iran has been one of the most sanctioned countries, if not the most sanctioned country in the world, really for generations. It's unlikely that the president is going to bring any more pressure to bear that would make Iran change its mind. Matt Bradley, NBC News, Tel Aviv.
Canada is racing to avoid new U.S. tariffs. They have less than 24 hours to figure it out. The Trump administration is threatening to impose 50% tariffs on many of its exports to the United States, starting just after midnight. Implemented, the tariffs will affect $20 billion worth of Canadian products, items like hockey sticks, clothing, wines, and certain building materials. President Donald Trump claims Canada discriminates against U.S. exports of autos, alcohol, and cheese. Still ahead here at 11, hitting